to Easy Talk, real talk for true entrepreneurs. And today you are in for a special treat. Just like every episode you've seen, you want to get your pen and pad ready because you're going to want to take some notes from this speaker. Today we have none other than the mayor of the city of Memphis. Mayor Paul Young is joining us today to talk about leadership, to talk about legacy building, and to give you some tips on how you can enhance and grow your business. Let me give you just a little background about our mayor. Mayor Paul Young is a dedicated leader and visionary. Mayor Young has spent years shaping the future of Memphis through his work in the community development, economic growth, and public service. As a champion for innovation and equity, he's committed to making Memphis a thriving city for all. So get ready for an insightful conversation about leadership, progress, and the exciting future of Memphis, Tennessee. Let's welcome Mayor Paul Young to the show.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Honored to be here.
No, it is definitely my pleasure.
I appreciate what you do for our community.
Thank you so much. I love doing it. So, Mayor Young, this is a platform for entrepreneurs. We want to help them to not only start their business as well, but also to be able to scale and grow their business.
Yeah.
And in the city of Memphis, we know that we get sometimes backlash. You know, it has an effect on tourism. It has an effect on small businesses. It has an effect on our community with some of the negative feedback that people say about Memphis.
Yeah.
But just in the very short time that you've been the mayor of our city, we've seen some great things happen. There's been some great initiatives on how we enhance our Memphians, not only with education, but with small businesses, even with our churches. What are some things that you're currently doing that we should know about?
Well, first, let me say I'm honored to be here on your platform, and being able to connect with your audience is really amazing. And certainly we as a city have had some people say things about us, but we know how amazing this city is.
Yes.
Memphis is one of the most amazing cities in the world.
I agree.
Like literally world renowned. The creativity that comes out of this place, the music that comes out of this place, the food, the cuisine, the talent in general. Is something that makes Memphis special. And our small business sector, our entrepreneurs is no different. If you look at the type of innovation that's come out of our city, there are things like the first self-service grocery store. Started in Memphis with entrepreneurs. We figured out how to get packages overnight anywhere in the world, right here in Memphis. That kind of innovation is special, and entrepreneurs started those things, and those entrepreneurs are still building, and we want to make sure that our city takes that level of innovation to the next level. And it's going to take investment. It's working with the financial institutions to develop new products that allow our small businesses and entrepreneurs to access capital. Those businesses that have credit profiles where they don't have all of the assets to back the debt, we need creative tools to help us fund those things. And so our administration has been working with the financial sectors, community development, financial institutions, and having discussions around different types of products that can be offered to support our small businesses. We have recently started working with an initiative, actually just launching right now, today. We started an initiative with Olivet Church where they had this program called BAM. It started as Bust a Move Monday.
Bust a Move Monday.
Yeah, Bust a Move Monday, 20 years ago.
Reverend Kirk Whalum, I believe.
Kenneth Whalum.
Yeah.
He started this program where their church would identify a small business, a small black business in Orange Mound, and one Monday per month, they would flood that business with business. Their parishioners would go to that business and make sure that they're spending money. He was very intentional to say, we don't want a hookup today.
Right.
Don't give us a discount.
Right.
We want to come and bless your business, and we want your business to be prepared. We want to make sure you can handle the number of customers. So it's training for that business to be able to ensure that they're up to speed and ready for that volume. Well, the program was so successful 20 years ago that they expanded it to a week. So 1 week per month, that congregation is flooding those businesses that they have selected for that month with business and revenues for their company. And so we thought that this was such an incredible idea that it's something that would work with churches all across the city. We have over 3,000 churches in the city of Memphis, and we would love to see those churches identify a small minority business, an entrepreneur to support, whether it's a restaurant or a retailer or someone that needs customers coming in on a regular basis. Let's figure out how to flood that business with support once a month, every month, and identifying a different business every month. We looked at the numbers, and based on some of the other programs we've done through our partnership with churches, we had an initiative called Own Your Block, where we had 45 churches that were going out and they're cleaning up their neighborhoods and communities. If we just had those 45, pick one business per month and flood those businesses with business, then we'll have nearly 600 businesses that would be supported annually.
Wow.
And that is not just economic development, that's economic empowerment. That's empowering these companies to be able to handle the level of volume that they want and strive for. And it's possible that we make that week the best week of their year. And I think that's an important initiative and strategy that we as a city are coordinating, but it's not taking any dollars from us. It's really just a level of coordination of identifying those small businesses as well as those churches and pairing them together so that they can do that.
I think that's going to be amazing. And it'll give small business owners an opportunity to really test the waters to see, where do I have some gaps? Where do I have some opportunities? What did I learn from that? So I definitely would love to see that grow. I'm going to personally follow that myself, because this is a lesson learned for business owners that say, I'm an entrepreneur, this is what I do, but did you build a foundation to be able to support your growth? Because I think, just like in a relationship, my aunt used to always tell me, start it how you want it to end.
You got to start how you want to finish.
Start your business how you want it to finish. Take your time and get your business to the level so that you can handle that volume. Because you never know when that day is going to come. And you get that one opportunity as a business owner to shine and show your brand and what the value you have that you can bring to the community. That's going to be phenomenal.
That's right. And it's an opportunity to grow your business, because while the parishioners from the churches may come for that week because they want to be a part of the initiative, they can love whatever you're providing and continue to come back. You have repeat customers, and so it's a great opportunity for our entrepreneurs to be a part of something that can make a big difference for those business owners and for our city as a whole. My goal and mission is to make sure that we as a city grow economically, that we are finally putting a dent in this big challenge called poverty. We all know that it has been one of the greatest challenges for many generations, and not just for Memphis. There are other cities that have the same problem, but I'm just focused on my city, and I really feel I really feel like the next 3 to 5 years can and should be our boom years. These should be the years where we really take the potential that we have and we go to the next level. For many years, we talk about the potential that exists in our city, and I think it's time for us to start realizing it.
And I think there's so many programs out there that we can do. I've worked with MMBC. They're working on initiatives the same way to do that, to help small businesses scale and grow. Shelby County, they have all of the districts. Every county commissioner is working on some type of initiative to help grow in their area. And I love that it's happening this way, because you almost can get that white glove service, that hands-on, personalized, versus taking the million or whatever that population of Memphis is and trying to help everybody at one time. If you take a piece, you take a piece, you take a piece, we can make it happen. There's some things that the CDC is doing. I'm working with Fraser CDC. They have over 150 renters in the Fraser area. But if they can teach them the value of assets, if they can teach them home ownership, help them with their financial growth, help them to be stable in that area with their income generation, they can turn those renters into homeowners.
No question.
So if everyone see in their community, as you're saying, from a church perspective, a nonprofit, even a school, what can we do with the power that we have to maximize just our area. Just like as the mayor, you're focused on just your city.
Right.
What if we each focused on our community, our neighborhood?
I think that's really what it comes down to is really being able to hone in at a neighborhood level on how do you create the best place in each of these respective areas. One of the other ideas that we haven't quite finished out yet, but I think it's still a solid idea, is this anchor strategy where we focus on corridors. And if you look at some of our corridors like Elvis Presley, like Macklemore, Jackson Avenue, Park Avenue, there are these places where if you can revitalize those corridors and get small businesses active again and ensure that they are the hub, the spine of these amazing communities like Orange Mound and South Memphis and North Memphis and Whitehaven, then you can see a tremendous amount of economic vitality. If we can get those corridors solidified, if we can ensure that we are changing the visual aesthetics, the way it looks and feels. That means from the street itself to the businesses that are on the side of the road. Those are things that we are looking at and trying to identify incentives that we can put in place to get more entrepreneurs and small businesses to take up space on those corridors. And we want those to really be the commercial nodes for those neighborhoods and communities so that the things that they need daily, they can get right there in their neighborhood.
And there's even an initiative for that, the EDGE initiative with Joanne Massey working on the aesthetics in the outside of businesses.
Absolutely. So EDGE is a really big part of what we're looking to achieve, and Joanne and her team have been great partners to the city, and they've made so many resources. So when we're talking about small businesses and entrepreneurs, we want to make sure that they know how to access those resources that EDGE has available.
Because there are so many resources available. When I worked at FedEx in corporate America, we had what we call a top-down and a bottom-up approach. And what trickled from the top sometimes got a little muddy coming from down to the bottom as it streamed down. But if you had someone at the bottom that was singing the same song, working it up to the top, by the time we met in the middle, everyone was on the same page. There were no surprises. And when you talked about that, and I was thinking about when you said on the outside in, I heard you speak one day where you talked about inside out. So I think our initiatives overall with any entrepreneur in their business, how can we help internally with families? And how can we help externally with the products and services that we have? That's that same top-down, bottom-up approach where we're working inside out and outside in. Because you can clean up the community and cut the grass. You can make sure that the businesses look good on the outside. But if the person that's robbing and killing is in that neighborhood, it doesn't help. So there's a lot of factors that drive success to businesses. And as the mayor of the city, certainly public safety is one of the paramount things. And we've made some strides in that area, but we know we still have a lot of work to do. And so as we work on the public safety side and making sure that individuals get the resources that they need so that they can be successful and they identify opportunities, our entrepreneurs can be partners to us. What I mean by that is our young people can't be what they can't see. And for far too many young people, they have no idea the type of economic opportunities that exist, particularly with entrepreneurship. And so one of the things that we've done with our Office of Youth Services is we are allowing small businesses to be able to partner with us where we will actually pay a young person to work with you for the summer. That is awesome. And what that does is it puts money in those young people's pockets. And it helps them to see what they want to be. And it helps them to see. It gives them an opportunity to learn. It may be an extra set of hands for you as the entrepreneur, but it's so much bigger for that young person because they get to see the daily grind and see what it's like to work in a small business and to really put in that work and see that reward at the end of the day. And it's us working from multiple angles. Is when people talk about public safety, oftentimes immediately what comes to mind is the police department and what things we can do from that perspective. But I think we all know that crime is the output of a number of things that have gone wrong in an individual's life. And if we can address those things before they have to be addressed by the police, then that's better for everyone. It is to catch them early. Now, this is a little off topic, but you said something that triggered a really strong thing that I'm working on right now. So I'm working with Lemoyne College. And
great institution.
For NIL deals, so name, image, and likeness, for the athletes, I'm working on a very similar initiative that you're talking about where you're paying for the small business owners to work with the students. Well, I am taking the athletes and what they are majoring in and what they have passion in and matching them with a small business here in the city that does that, and they're giving them a stipend. So now awesome. They have something to put on their resume. They have a mentor, and they've got community service, and they are working in the field that they desire to be in, and that small business owner gets help at a cost that they can afford to pay. So if they want to give that student $500 a semester, $1,000 a semester, that student is going to come work with them and get that very thing. What I love about what you said is you're talking about high school students that can help them put money in their pockets, give them a vision. So by the time they get to school, their resume is already being built. So it's almost like for what I'm trying to do, I'm starting a little late because if we had done this in high school, but if we had done it in high school, when they got to college, they're like, oh, this is my major. These are some companies I've already worked with. This is what I'm doing. Now you're more attractive. And you're almost more sure of, is this what I really want to do?
And that's the last point is what I think is the most important part. What we have to do for our young people is spark interest and spark that flame that really drives what do they really want to do with their life. Where do I want to go?
Passion.
You have a passion.
How do you feed it?
And when you find your passion, it's like you're not even working. It's just you're acting in your passion, and somebody's paying you to do it. And we need to continue to spark that in our young people because they are the ones who are going to carry our economy forward. When you and I continue to get older, then it's this younger generation that's going to be the ones that are propping up our economy,
and we want to be able to look back and say, you know what, I played a role in helping that.
Absolutely.
Not, we should have done this, because at that point it's too late. What can we do now?
Let's do it now, and I just think it's so important. One other point that I was going to make, I saw something that the Mid-South Minority Business Council, MMBC, had put together many years ago, but I think it's so pertinent now. It was a list, it was kind of like a paradigm, and it showed businesses along this, it was a continuum. There was businesses along this continuum, and there were like early stage businesses. Then it had a list of all of the resources that are necessary and who's working in those spaces to provide them. And then it has those medium-sized businesses or medium-scale businesses where they've been operating for 5 to 10 years. They have 2 or 3 employees, but they've kind of hit a wall and they need a different set of resources. And then they have more mature businesses and their issue. I think that as we look at how we grow businesses, how we support entrepreneurs, we really should be thinking along that continuum. How can we provide the resources to them? How can they access the support that they need as businesses so that they can continue to grow? Because their growth, particularly in our city, is our success. Because I'm really working to make Memphis the destination, the place where if you want to do business, the talent is here. We just got to make sure that they get those opportunities to thrive.
And one of the resources that the city has is the OBDC. Can you tell us a little bit more about that for our Memphis-based listeners to say, where can I go get help? I believe that's one of the places that they can go.
It's definitely one of the places you can go.
The Office of Business, Diversity, and Compliance.
That's right. Office of Business, Diversity, and Compliance. Through that office, we can help navigate you to different resources that you may need. Training takes place there. Different certifications we can help you get. We also allow, that's the office that gets you signed up to be a vendor for the city. And we work in partnership with some other groups to get that certification for being a vendor. But it's a really, really important place, one-stop shop.
It is.
You can go to the Universal Life building over at MLK and Danny Thomas.
And I have been there personally. They have computers there. They have resources there that can help you with your business, answer questions that you have. And it's so important to be able to do business in the city as well as with the city. And that is 2 different things. And as an entrepreneur, you need to know where you stand in those 2 areas and how you can grow. As an entrepreneur, I do believe that a lot of the responsibility of growing your business lies with the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So the help that you need, the resources you need, the funding you need, it's important to network and be able to find where you can get that help.
Yeah, it's very important. And one of the things that I like to encourage entrepreneurs with is, you know, the city of Memphis does business, and it's great to be able to do business with the city of Memphis, but it's a small fraction of all of the businesses that's conducted in the city of Memphis. And so it's important to connect to the other spaces like the chamber and attending those events. And you know, the Business Journal does a lot of events. Like, go to the places where you can meet leaders of some of the other major companies and institutions, our hospitals, our big corporations, even our small businesses. They are all doing business with other businesses, and you want to become a supplier for them.
Right. That's when you do the pop-up shops and you go to the different venues, the Christmas parties, the different events. It's where you get to meet people and be present. And having that powerful elevator pitch.
Yeah, that's it.
You've got to be able to say, this is what I do, this is why I do it, and this is why you should care.
That's it.
That elevator pitch, you have to be on spot with it, because that's your one shot to give that firm handshake to be able to acknowledge that you're a business owner and what you do.
That's it. And, you know, people do business with people that they know.
Yes.
And so make sure they know you. Make sure that people know who you are, what service you provide, so that when they're looking for that service, that you come to mind.
Exactly.
That you are on their vendor list.
And you know, Memphis has a saying, and I've been here all my life, and people always say, oh, you know, they do business with who they want to do business with. But that's not a bad thing, and people have made that a negative connotation when it is not.
Yeah.
Don't be mad at the work you didn't do.
Yeah.
Get out there and network.
It's a gift and a curse. It's a gift and a curse. They do business with the people they know, but if they don't know you, then you're locked out. And so you have to make sure they know you.
Yes. How do you get locked in?
Right. Get locked in.
Get yourself locked in. And if you're right now with the BAM initiative, if you're a member of a church, or if a church is in your neighborhood, help spearhead that.
Make sure your church signs up. That's right.
Exactly. So that you can be a part of that.
Right.
Yeah. So a lot. I definitely believe that a lot of that is on us, and I do know that we look to leaders for their initiatives. And you're a mayor of the city, but tell us how that relates to an entrepreneur. So you're the mayor of the city. You don't own the city, but you are a great leader in the city.
Right.
But how would you say that compares to being an entrepreneur?
Well, I think it's similar in that as an entrepreneur, you have certain functions that you have to make sure are solid. You got to make sure that your finances are solid, that you are bringing in all the supplies that you need on a daily basis to do the thing that you're trying to do. And as mayor and CEO of the city that has, you know, over 6,000 full-time employees, that's charged with picking up trash, delivering quality service at our libraries, our parks, have police and fire. We have to make sure that our finances in order, that all of our employees have the supplies they need so that they can do their jobs daily. So it's definitely similar from that perspective. And as a Memphian and someone who lives here and has lived here most of my life, except for when I was in college and a year that I was in New York, I want to see our city thrive. And so I want our entrepreneurs to be successful. I want them to make as much money as possible. I want to brag on them. I want to go to these other cities and talk to these other mayors and make them jealous about the fact that we have such an amazing, strong entrepreneurial ecosystem. And I think that's something that we can and should be doing.
So if you could give one piece of advice to the entrepreneurs listening now about how they can even start to grow their business or enhance the business that they have, what advice would that be?
I would say my advice would be spend time learning more about the things that you don't know on how you grow your business. Find experts in the space, find the best in class, and seek out ways to connect to those people. Find ways to learn from people that have done it before you. And this is what I do in my city space. People are happy to try and figure out how to help. Even in this competitive world and environment, if people know that they can help you, in most instances they will. And even if you run into a roadblock with one person that won't, they're not the only person that has
Right.
been successful in that space. So find the people that can mentor you, that can help you, that can support you, and take it all in.
Yes. And you know, that is great advice. And I can tell you honestly, everyone that has sat in this seat with me that's an entrepreneur has said, we help. We want to help. We like to help. Memphis is the type of city that they will lend a helping hand if you ask. And that is one thing where doing business with who you know is not a factor.
Right.
If you are humble enough and you're kind enough to ask someone for help,
That's right.
they will help you. And everyone that has sat in this seat, even the owner of this studio, Fabian Matthews, he is willing to help.
Yeah.
They've all sat here and said, someone helped me and I'm willing to pass it on.
That's
and
right.
all of those entrepreneurs have been successful in their business because they give just as much as they get.
That's right. That's right. You own it. So I mean, I co-sign everything that you've said, and you know, for me, it's really working hard to make sure that this era, and I call it this era of yes, because we're saying yes to innovation, yes to growth, yes to the things that are going to support our people. In this era, I really feel like this is our moment, this is our time, and our entrepreneurs are going to be a key ingredient towards getting us there.
Yes, I completely agree. And I have seen it. I've been in business for 6 years this year, and my business has grown tremendously over the past couple of years. But that's only because I took up the culture of Memphis and knew that I had to grit and grind, I had to network, and I had to say yes to every opportunity that came. And some of those opportunities were not paid opportunities,
Right.
but it was how I built relationships.
that's it.
It's how I built relationships. So all of the members, the subscribers of Easy Talk, you heard it here first. You have got to say yes, not only to your business, but to your city, to your community, and make a lasting impact so that your business can grow and your community can grow. We want to thank Mayor Young for coming on the show today. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know you have so much to do, so we are grateful to have you
Glad
here.
to be here.
And until next time, this is Easy Talk, real talk for true entrepreneurs. We'll see you next time.